Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Imagine having a very bad case of cognitive dissonance. You know, holding two opposing views in your mind at the same time and believing both. Nicola Sturgeon has a problem just like that, only she doesn't know which lie she ought to be telling when she talks about one thing but means something else. But she does hold these opposing views. I think the only difference is I'm not sure she believes in either of them. Meanwhile, she makes herself look stupid and ruins her career over a policy that no one wants. But she has to force it through now because she can never be wrong and can never back down. But in trying to force it through, she opens that wee joyless mouth at the front of her head and out comes, well, what a pile of rubbish. Let's look at this article to see what the wee goblin of the glens is spouting forth now. Stop digging, Nicola. Sturgeon refers to trans Ara of women Isla Bryson as her, and insisting that his important thing is that they are in prison. So she calls him a her, then forgets it and goes, oh my God, it's supposed to be a they, and we have to refer to him as the individual because she is a moron. She calls this man a woman, but then remembers that she's not supposed to call him a woman. And starts to, the official term is the individual, because she's tied herself up in knots over this mental process that she's got, that anyone who calls themselves a woman is a woman, only she knows that she cannot call this man a woman. And the reason is, if she goes along that this man is legally a woman, then he must be released from prison immediately, because he was convicted of R, and in Scottish law only men can be convicted of R, and if he is legally a woman he cannot have been convicted of that. He is innocent and must be released, and then Nicola Sturgeon will have to go and endure the embarrassment of apologising to the victims to say, well, actually, obviously, whatever went on, that was only in your mind because he couldn't legally have done this because she is a woman. So she cannot refer to him as a woman because the courts have already found him guilty. But if she refers to him as a man, then the nutters and the little rainbow nutters will go, oh, Nicola, you're evil, you're an Islamophobe. And she doesn't want that because she hates to be thought of as anything other than the most virtuous human being that ever existed. Honestly, she sits at the end of that little LGBT rainbow like a leprechaun holding a crock of shit. But anyway, Sturgeon referred to the trans Ara of women Isla Bryson, Adam Graham, as her today, as she endured more awkward questions on gender. And the SNP leader risked causing fresh confusion. Continued confusion, as she was challenged at a press conference over whether she regarded Bryson as a woman. We'll call him Graham. Ms Sturgeon seemed to be carefully avoiding specifying the gender of the offender, who was moved to a male prison after an outcry. However, many more men remain in women's prisons, but there hasn't been the outcry over that, so apparently that's okay then. But the worst minister was picked up by journalists after slipping. She told that she had used the term her. A clearly exasperated Miss Sturgeon said, don't read anything into that. I'm trying to rationally figure a way out of backtracking on what I've said because I'm a tart, Anyway, what I'm trying to do is address the issues rather than take it to the headline generating. I'm trying to rationally deal with the issues that arise here. I don't know what to say. I'm so confused by my own mental processes and the law that I brought in. I don't know what I'm doing. Please, somebody help me. Anyway, pushed on why she said her, Miss Sturgeon says, I can't remember. I'll take your word for it. Yeah, she's got the worst memory ever. She can't remember where that £600,000 went either, or the 20 million, or the contract for the ferries, or how the hell she got into power. Anyway, Isla Bryson calls himself a woman, but what I'm trying to say is the context of the prison service, that is not the relevant factor here. Yes, it's very relevant, Nicola, and that's why he is in a man's prison. The relevant factor is that the crime that the individual committed and has been convicted of, which can only be committed by a man. When the journalist persisted that people had been asking for days whether she regarded Bryson as a woman, Sturgeon said she regards herself as a woman. He regards himself as a woman. but he must be male. I regard the individual as an aura of women. And in the context of the prison service, what matters is that the individual was convicted of R, and that is what we're talking about here. Stupid, stupid woman cannot even speak upon that law which she forced on. Thank heavens it's been revoked. Sturgeon said, in this case, the individual is an aura and of women, and that is the important description for this individual. No. The most important one is he male or female? Because you need to know what prison to put him in, you stupid little runt. The First Minister said her position on challenging the UK government's use of Section 35 to block her looser gender laws had not changed, insisting it is important to have clarity. Yeah, let's have clarity. Let's have clarity, Nicola. You tell us. Be very clear about this. Is Adam Graham a man or a woman? He committed a crime that only a man can commit, and he's convicted of a crime that only a man can convict. And he's been put in a man's prison, Nicola. Why are you calling him a her? Is it because you're stupid? Is it, Nicola? Is it because you've talked yourself down a dark one-way street, there's no return, and you're scared to go forward, and you know there's no going back? Oh dear, Nicola. TikTok, love. TikTok. That's the end of your career. She is a moron. I'm going to come up now. Stupid cow. There's no denying it. Nicola Sturgeon is a moron. She brings a law in that isn't required, that nobody wants, that everyone advised her was a really bad idea, that actually damages the safety of women and children. And she pushes this because she wants to look virtuous. And having pushed it to this degree, she finds she cannot go back, because those deluded individuals who want to believe in her think that she's marvellous and she'll stick to this to the end, and she will. And it'll cost her everything. It'll cost her her party. It'll cost her her job. And that's no bad thing. It's certainly a good thing for Scotland to get rid of this moron out of power. But she's bringing in Parliament into disrepute. She's bringing the law into disrepute. She's confusing those attempting to, how we put it, attempting to work within her framework for to do their job. And they're made to be afraid that if they get it wrong, they'll lose their job. When common sense says this man should be in a man's prison for a man's crime. But even then, Nicola Sturgeon cannot bring herself to admit that she got something, anything, regardless of how small it is, wrong. Because we all know that in Nicola's mind, Nicola is never, ever wrong. And that is probably the biggest delusion of them all. Anyway, I shall stop now. Thank you very much for listening. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, ring that bell for notification of future output. Leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well. Tell Nicola Sturgeon to work out what the hell she's trying to do before opening the big trap and putting her foot in it. Anyway, thank you very much. Goodbye.